So today I'll be running us through a brief overview of what hyperconvergence is and how HPE Simplivity can simplify our data center through the hyperconverged platform. Then I would be also discussing some of the features and functionality of HPE Simplivity, followed by some use cases and on why HPE is the best platform in moving to digital transformation. Okay. So firstly, please feel free to interrupt if you have any questions. Kindly raise your hand or unmute your mic. I do welcome any questions at any point in time of the presentation. So first, I would just like to introduce the concept of hyperconvergence. So for all of us who doesn't know hyperconvergence yet, it's actually all throughout our daily lives already. So in a higher level example, it's something like our smartphones. When in the past, we used to carry lots of different devices to do our daily tasks. A cell phone for just calling and texting, a separate iPod to listen to music, a calculator to use for calculating, and a portable gaming console to do some games. Right now, all of these features and functionalities can be done by our smartphones. And plus the ease of interface that our smartphones offers to us. So basically, that's what we want to do for your data center. We want to do everything or the functionalities of the traditional infrastructure without the complexity and complex management that the traditional infrastructures command. No? So first, we'll go through the anatomy of the traditional data center, as we call it, where we have our traditional servers, storage, switches, a backup appliance maybe to do our backups or backup applications. If we have offsites, we have the WAN optimization and other appliances that we have in our data center. So what do all of these layers represent? Mainly, all of them represent cost, from having to power those servers, those appliances, cooling them, the floor space it consumes in our data center, plus the licensing that we need for each and every appliance to do its functionality, as well as the support needed in case of maintenance agreement and all of those. All of those adds to cost. No? So each layer of the traditional data center represents cost. One thing also is agility. The processes and procedures when the business requires a workload to be up and running. How long does IT take to give that workload or to put that workload up for the business? The time to deploy traditional infrastructure, as well as patch and upgrade each and every component that we have in the data center. Plus the integration. So we would need to double check or validate if we upgrade a certain appliance. Would that integrate? Yes.
Yeah. Integration and
sorry guys, someone from PKI, si Sir Ramilata, hindi niya nakikita yung slide natin. Can we help kung paano niya makita yung yung screen?
Oh, I think he needs to try to dial back in. Maybe nagkaroon na ng connectivity issue on his end. If everyone else can see my screen.
Mga sirs, pwede ba tayong mag-confirm? Nakikita niyo po ba yung slides natin?
Opo.
Si Ramil, okay ka na, sir?
Hindi pa po, ma'am. Wala po makita.
Ano? Sir Daylord, ano pwede niyang gawin?
I need to dial back in. I think I need to dial back in. Ako, I can see the sa side ko.
Sir Ramil, paano lang po
Pa-end mo lang, sir, tapos join tayo ulit.
Join po ulit. Opo.
Okay po, copy.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you po.
So let's just wait for Sir to dial back in.
Yeah. So, i-welcome na lang muna natin si Sir Tevin ng IWS at saka si Sir Aldridge ng IEWE team. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Ann. Hello?
Nakain na kaya siya? Sir Lay, nakikita niyo na ba siya?
Wala pa. I think hindi
Wala
pa siya
ka, Ann, wala pa.
nakaka-out.
Sige, mag-start na muna siguro tayo, sir, kasi baka ano tayo sa oras. Tawagan ko siya ulit, tapos mag-ina lang siya.
Okay, Ann, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Jasper, start na ulit tayo. Jasper, please.
I'll just continue it. I'll just continue now. Okay.
Thank you.
So ayun. So the integration of having all of those components, we need to if it would still work with the other versions of let's say your switches or your storage. So lastly, another one is the risk or outcome cost. So the skill set that the company needs to invest on having a separate server admin, a separate storage admin, and the training that they need to have for them to realize the benefits of the infrastructure. And lastly, the cost to implement such a complex infrastructure. So that's why we want to. I would show you how we make that complex data center simpler with HPE Simplivity. So usually, this is what our data centers currently look like. We have some servers, a traditional storage array. If we have an offsite DR, we have a mirror image of that setup, like another storage and servers. We might have some WAN optimizers for the bandwidth between those two sites, as well as a backup appliance, some SSD arrays or SSD caching, and some backup applications or replication applications for us to do our operational tasks. So as you can see, for us to have that enterprise capability, like data protection, the data efficiency, good performance, we usually need to have lots of equipment in our data center. So what happens if we have HPE Simplivity? When we have HPE Simplivity, since it's a hyper-converged infrastructure or technology, firstly, you would not need the traditional storage area anymore since it's going to be built in. Next, we have global deduplication and compression of data, so we can have that WAN optimization functionalities in between our sites. Next is the built-in deduplication and compression that Simplivity has, so we do not need to have another separate appliance for that. And some cloud gateways. And since our technology are all flash and we have also some hybrid models, we don't need anymore the SSD arrays and SSD caching. Then lastly, the data protection applications like your backup software or replication software, we have that features and functionalities already built into HPE Simplivity. So as you can see, in a simple setup of 3 nodes of HPE Simplivity, we can have already a highly available production site and an offsite TR. So with HPE Simplivity, we want to give you the best of both worlds. The enterprise capabilities of having that good data protection, data efficiency, good performance, as well as a unified management under a single pane of glass. With the cloud economics of having a simple, easy to scale appliance model. Okay. Any questions so far? None yet.
Sir Ramil, nakikita niyo na po ba yung slide? Okay na daw.
Okay na. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just go through the evolution of how we came to hyperconvergence. So as I've discussed, we have the traditional infrastructure as I've shown earlier. From there, the vendors or manufacturers then came up with the integrated system or a pre-packaged solution from the vendors which has pre-integrated server storage for a specific purpose. But still, as we can see, all the components are still there. Hindi pa din siya na converge or na na simplify. Next is other hyperconverged solutions. So other hyperconverged solutions already integrate the storage and the server portion of the solution. But what about everything that's underneath? Like our backups, our deduplication, compression, those data optimization functionalities, as well as data protection applications. You still need to buy those appliance or applications or bundle them in. So that's what we want to avoid with HPE Simplivity. We want to give you an all-in-one solution where you already have all the features and functionalities that you might need for your daily operation, like built-in backup, built-in replication, built-in data optimizations like deduplication and compression, also a possible built-in VR automation software. So with HPE Simplivity, we have this data virtualization platform. So this is the technology that we use so that we can fit that entire stack into a single 2U appliance. So this data virtualization platform is powered by the patented OmniStack accelerator card, which offloads the data optimization process to this accelerator card so that our CPU can focus more on the workloads that we need to do rather than the data optimization process. So for example, as you can see here, we have 4 virtual machines running different workloads. When that virtual machine writes the data, it passes through the data virtualization platform or the presentation layer, where it's then analyzed if it's a unique block of data. When it sees that it's a unique block of data, it automatically compresses it and writes it to this. So the advantage of this is we do this inline at the inception of the data. We don't need to write it first and then optimize the data later on the cycle. We do this inline, so real time. We get to analyze the data, see if it's unique. Then if as it sees this red block again, it's unique, it writes it to this. It compresses it. In a faster sense, this is But what happens if it sees a duplicate block of data? When it sees a duplicate block of data, it just puts a pointer to the block of data that was already written. So that's why, in a faster sense, lots of data is being written by our virtual machines, but what gets written to the hard disk of the server or of the appliance is only the unique blocks of data. So the advantage of this is we reduce I/O, the unnecessary I/O of doing those traditional infrastructure. That's why we can do like backups, cloning at any point in time or even during production. We eliminate the need for a backup window with HPE Simplivity because we eliminate those I/Os using this inline deduplication and compression technology. And also, that is how we get a very efficient system. That's why we can guarantee capacity savings with HPE Simplivity. So one of the advantage of this data optimization process that we do is it spans across the WAN. Or if we have multiple sites, let's say an offsite DR, that data virtualization platform spans across it. So for example, we need to move this VM or send this VM over to the other site. That data also gets analyzed. So for us to move this VM, the data virtualization platform analyzes that we don't need to send over this light blue and light green and dark gray block for it to create that VM over on the other side. That's why it just sends over the orange and the light gray blocks, effectively optimizing the bandwidth use, especially here in the Philippines where bandwidth is not that good and also it's quite expensive. So with the HPE data virtualization platform, what we get is a guaranteed data efficiency. We guarantee at least 10:1, so 10 terabytes of logical data can be stored in 1 terabyte of HPE Simplivity across our production and backup. That's guaranteed. We also have built-in backup, built-in replication, and built-in disaster recovery features if we would like to have a DR site. And lastly, we get the global VM-centric management and mobility. So a fully integrated management stack through VMware. So as I said, the Simplivity system using this inline deduplication and compression technology is really very efficient. So across our global deployments, we average at around 50:1 on our efficiency ratio, with a third of our customers getting over 100:1. So with HPE Simplivity, what we get is better application performance than traditional IT. We get to also reap the benefits of a guaranteed performance in terms of less than a minute to do local backups, local restore of a terabyte of VM. And we get cost savings compared to traditional IT or even cloud. So what we also have is an integrated management system with the leading virtualization software, which is VMware. So we can manage our whole infrastructure through vCenter. So what we see is just a simple dashboard where we integrate and we see the capacity, the logical capacity, the efficiency of the system, and the physical capacity used. So in just a few clicks, we can do our core Simplivity functionalities like doing backups, cloning, moving a virtual machine, and so on and so forth. So with this integrated management, we get a simple and easy interface. We get to empower IT generalists to do all those tasks that we need. No need for us to learn some special or a unique interface. We get leading support for multiple OS with VMware. And we get to use the familiar tools and interfaces like vCenter and other VMware tools that we might need. As well as if we get the VMware bundled in, we get full stack support. So HPE would support you with the level 1 and level 2 concerns, even with VMware concerns. With HPE and VMware, we want to give you a seamless transition to digital transformation. That is why HPE is the largest virtualization server share on VMware across all vendors. We also have innovative and turnkey solutions from virtualization solutions from VMware, as well as we include the industry's most complete portfolio for solution and services with VMware. So why is it better together? With HPE and VMware, we have over 75 years of IT innovation. We have 200,000+ joint customers. We have in-house solutions expert for VMware as well. So that's why we can support you even on the operational stages. And we are the biggest and the awarded OEM partner of the year for VMware. So with HPE, we can give you the innovation, experience, and expertise for the whole stack already. So what is the key difference that HPE Simplivity has compared to its competitors? So most of our competitors, for them to have those operational functionalities or features, they would need to bundle in third-party applications like a Veeam or Commvault for their backups, an SRM for their disaster recovery automation, or a Zerto for their replication, as well as something like a Silver Peak or Riverbed for WAN optimization. With HPE Simplivity, we get to do all those features and functionalities already built in to the system. Hence, you don't need to purchase any more third-party softwares. You don't need to worry about that software renewing those softwares anymore. So next, I'll be presenting some top use cases of HPE Simplivity. Firstly, we have data center consolidation, which is reducing the footprint in the data center to reduce the power, cooling, to have a more efficient and streamlined IT. Next, since we are a group of islands here in the Philippines, Robo is one of the key use cases of Simplivity, as well as with the features of WAN optimization. We can send data through and from branch offices located across the Philippines. Next, this is a very hot topic right now, especially during this pandemic, VDI, which my colleague Alex would discuss more in depth later. We also have tier 1 applications like SAP HANA. We are certified to run those tier 1 level applications. Then data protection with the built-in data protection that HPE Simplivity has already. And test and dev, since we can create, do patches faster or quicker with HPE Simplivity. It became a good use case for the appliance as well. So in a nutshell, what we want to do for the data center is simplify it, reduce the footprint from the traditional infrastructure to just a simple 2U appliance, where we get to lower those upfront costs or capex, as well as reduce the OPEX that we need in running this infrastructure. So yun. Any questions muna regarding HPE Simplivity or the slides earlier? So none yet. Okay. So I'll be moving on why HPE Simplivity as your virtualization platform or as your hyperconverged solution platform. So first, whether our workload is going to be VDI or data center consolidation, we are validated by industry's top third-party organizations. We are validated by Login VSI for client virtualization or VDI, where they measure the boot storms and performance of the VDI and rank Simplivity as one of the top performing VDI solutions out there for both Citrix and VMware Horizon. We are also certified by top industry vendors like SAP to run their SAP HANA and other kinds of tier 1 workloads. And we are recognized by industry leading research organizations like Forrester, Gartner, as a leader in hyperconvergence. We are also an industry award for Product of the Year for Hyperconverge since 2017 and running. Next is the HPE Simplivity is a fully integrated HCI stack built on the world's most secure standard server, which is the ProLiant series of servers from HPE. So with this, we get to reap the benefits of the investment that HPE gives, or HPE gave to the security department of the ProLiant series. We have the ILO 5 Silicon Root of Trust, which does the firmware checking or validation. So it doesn't, when the firmware is compromised, it gives you a prompt not to run that firmware or revert back to a safe state or factory default. Next is, these are tested and proven result by independent organizations that rank HPE 2 generations ahead of any of our competitors in terms of security. Also, with compliance, especially with manufacturing, we usually need to have some compliance. HPE has the leading in the compliance department, like NIST 853 controls, which only HPE has complied, as well as CNSA in the standards from the US, Pentagon level security in the US. So lastly, why hyperconvergence and why now? First is we accelerate app performance to streamline our IT. We give you an easy, simple virtualization platform to run our virtualized workload effectively and efficiently. We optimize the resource to what the business or the IT might need. We lower costs from the power, cooling, the device reduction, as well as the storage efficiency and savings that we might see. As well as we allow IT to focus more on innovation and less on administration or keeping the lights on with the efficient built-in resiliencies, backups, the guaranteed performance of performing that backup or restore in less than 1 minute. IT can focus more on how to streamline the processes and the business other than just keeping it on. So lastly, I would like to present the HyperGuarantee, which is a unique guarantee that only HPE offers. No other vendor offers a guarantee with their hardware. So we guarantee the hyper efficient, which is the 90% capacity savings across our storage and backup, or 10:1. The hyper protected, where we can do under 1 minute to back up a local backup of a VM or restore or clone it. hyper simple with just 3 clicks to do core functions like backing it up, restore, move, or cloning a VM on a single console. Hyper manageable, which means that you can manage thousands of VMs across multiple of sites in just a single pane of glass. And hyper available, that is for an highly available solution of HPE Simplivity. We can upgrade, add nodes without disruption. So with that, I believe this would be my last slide before I turn it over to Alex. Does anyone have any questions regarding HPE Simplivity?